Hey everybody, this is Kristen Aldebol-Hazle, also known as Dr. Claw. I'm here to introduce to you our English 2130 British Literature class for summer 2018. You will need to be very familiar with Canvas for this class because everything we're doing is going to be on Canvas. And hopefully since Clemson made the switch last year, you've had a decent amount of experience with it. When you go to Canvas, you should see on your dashboard the icon for our British Literature class. So click on that and it'll take you directly to the home screen, which I've tried to set up so that it's really straightforward for you. So at the top you'll see recent announcements. I think it'll do like the last 3 announcements, and then if you want to see any older ones, just click on the menu item over here. And then I've got some major links for you. Your homework schedule, your syllabus, your assignments, and help screens. Now, I haven't set up the assignments one, but that's coming. And also that link is over here. This is just a quick navigation kind of area. So you'll see on the right-hand side of the page that you've got a few items coming up in the next week. In terms of assignments, so that's handy. You can also see all scheduled assignments on the calendar over here in the purple. Let's go ahead and have a look at the homework schedule. So I've set this up as a Google Doc so that if I need to make any changes, you will see those changes immediately. And then within the homework schedule, I've also linked the syllabus and Canvas because I think that's going to be most useful. One thing to note, which I mentioned in my announcement last week, is that this is a 5-week course that encompasses the work we would normally do in 16 weeks. So I have trimmed a couple of things from the class, but it's still a lot of work and not a lot of time. And so I've tried to set it up so that it's really clear what you've got to do each week. So you'll see on the far left, the column for the date, week 1 will be May 15th through May 20th. You'll see that's a short week because we start on a Tuesday rather than being like a Monday to Sunday week. And I've just got a couple of topics that we'll be covering in our Yellow Dig discussions, which I'll tell you about later. You'll see the readings that you need. So this week you're reading all of Beowulf. You're reading 2 online texts. These are to help you start thinking about logic. So the Book of Bad Arguments is about logic, and helping you think about audiences and your own kind of interpretation of things. So these are sort of foundational things that will help you understand the type of argumentation we'll do in this class. And then on the far right, you'll see any assignments that are coming up in that week. So all of the major assignments are due on Sunday nights at 11:59 p.m. And those are in bold. And your critical readings are also going to be due on Sunday nights. You can, and I encourage you to, turn things in early, especially the critical reading. I would just turn those in as soon as you're done with the reading. And you'll see more about that assignment, and we'll talk more about that on Yellow Dig. The reading quizzes are the things you need to keep track of on your calendar because they happen throughout the week. And the reason I've set them up like that is to try to help you maintain a good sense of pacing with your reading. It would be very easy to let the reading kind of pile up on you, and then you're frantically trying to read, like 20 hours of reading in 5 hours on a Sunday. It's not going to happen. So the reading quiz due dates are scattered throughout the week to help you keep working towards this class a little bit at a time. And the reading quizzes are multiple choice. They're very fact-based. I'm not asking for any interpretations in them. It's very much a did you read it? They're open book, open notes. I ask that you don't use the internet, but that's pretty much it. Do note that you can't turn them in late though. So they really are a reading check, and you can't turn them in late because we're going to be discussing them in Yellow Dig once the due date has passed. So it just wouldn't work for you to turn them in late. That's pretty much what you need to know about the reading schedule. Oh, abbreviation. So BABEL stands for the Broadview Anthology of British Literature. We are using the 1-volume compact edition. This ISBN is unique to this course because Broadview has very kindly offered to give you all Frankenstein for free with your purchase of this anthology, but in order to do that, they had to generate a unique ISBN. So if you're looking for like a used version of this, that would not be the ISBN. So you need to be extra extra sure that you are buying the 1-volume compact edition, because they have a lot of different anthologies and it's very easy to get the wrong one. The easiest way to do this would be to buy it from the bookstore because they actually have the correct one. So yeah, Babel, and then you'll see in the reading area, it'll say Babel and a set of numbers. Those are page numbers. And then you'll have 2 L's and another set of numbers. Those are line numbers. So a lot of what we're reading has lines because it's poetry. And that's where that double L thing comes in. We'll talk about the craziness of the Paradise Lost readings later when they're kind of coming up. Okay, so that's the homework schedule. Like I said, this is a Google Doc, so you'll be able to see any changes to it immediately. And note that you do need your Clemson email to log into this. So this is only available to Clemson users. So if you can't log in, make sure that you're logged into your Clemson email. Okay, back to the home page. You'll see I've also linked the syllabus as a Google Doc. Same thing in terms of access. You need your Clemson account to access it. This just has some information about me and the course. So our course starts May 15th. Oh, that says 2016. See, this is the glory of Google Docs. There we go, 2018, and we have fixed it. Information about me, my email address. These virtual office hours are sort of when I'll be around, and I'll be hanging out in the chat room on our Canvas, which there's a link to it right over here. And a link to the homework schedule, and then an explanation of this course. So this course is focusing on the body in literature, and we do this in order to try to find a way into the literature, because it can be quite overwhelming to just sit down and read a text and have no idea of what to look for. So I can tell you that every single text that we are looking at in this class will have something interesting or strange going on with bodies in that text. So you'll always have that kind of lens to look at. That doesn't mean that these texts are only about bodies, or that's the only thing we're going to talk about. Rather, it's just a way in. It's a way to start thinking about the text, a way to start thinking about interpretation. Some of the questions we will ask ourselves is, what kind of bodies are in this text? What do these bodies communicate to the reader? And how do these bodies communicate with the reader? We also want to keep in mind how this might create tunnel vision. What might focusing on the bodies in the text cause the reader to overlook? So that's kind of our focus for the class. This is our course goals in here, and involves kind of cultural inquiry, critical thinking, analysis, evidence-based analysis in particular. And synthesizing information, communicating, of course. This will be doing writing. These are the kind of Clemson standards that we meet in this class. These are the required materials, which I talked about a little bit earlier in the video, so I'm not going to go into depth again with that. If you are buying Frankenstein separately, please note that you absolutely need the 1818 version. Basically, Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein in 1818, and then later her husband revised it in 1831, and there are a couple other editions. But anyway, if you read the other versions, you are not going to do well on the quizzes or the papers or anything because they're different. So make sure you're getting that 1818 version. Again, if you buy it from the bookstore, they've got the correct version there. Here for this class, we are online. You're going to need a laptop or some kind of computer. I don't care if you have a desktop or laptop, as long as you have a computer. You'll need speakers or headphones, because you will have some videos to watch, obviously, because you're watching one right now. I can't recommend enough cloud-based storage. Every single semester I have a student whose computer dies. All of a sudden they lose, if they're lucky, just the semester's work. If they're not lucky, they lose years of work, and it's horrible, and it doesn't have to happen. So please use cloud-based storage. If you don't know what that is or want more information about it, please reach out to me either via email or Yellowdig. And you'll also need access to the internet. So both for links for content of what we're reading, but also to submit assignments and see announcements and just basically do the course. So course requirements: when you submit work, please never ever email me coursework unless I have asked you to email me coursework. That's how assignments get lost. There is a place in Canvas for everything you need to submit. Your participation will mostly happen in Yellowdig, which we'll talk about shortly. Your written assignments will need to be readable using Microsoft Office 2010. And pretty much if you're using a Microsoft suite, it will be readable. All Clemson students have free access to Microsoft Office products. So if you don't have those yet, go to CCIT and get those. All right, so succeeding in this class. This is hard. If you've never taken an online class before, you're going to find it very different from a face-to-face class. It requires a lot of self-motivation. It requires really good time management. Now, these are things that I'm really good at helping you with, and I'm going to give you tools, but I can't make you use those tools. You know, like it's different. If we were in the classroom, I could snap my fingers in front of your face and be like, hey, do this thing. But that's not how it works in an online classroom. So as many tools as I can give you, you're only going to benefit from the ones you use. So do keep that in mind. I highly recommend using some kind of calendar. Your Clemson Gmail has Google Calendar built into that, so that's an easy one to use right there. There are a lot of options out there. And again, I'll talk about some of my favorite time management stuff. I mentioned this in my announcement last week, but keep in mind that you'll spend approximately 20 to 30 hours each week completing course activity, discussions, and readings. And honestly, I do think the readings will be the most time-intensive parts of this, because again, we're doing 16 weeks of work in 5 weeks. So make sure you are checking in. Check your email at least 3 times a week, if not more. Get onto Canvas periodically. Look at that calendar that tells you what assignments you've got coming up. And that way you won't be surprised by anything. Assignments are due at 11:59 p.m. on Eastern Daylight Savings Time on the day specified. And I say here, plan ahead for the unexpected. That means that you are accountable for staying on schedule, even if technological or other problems arise. So if you are working on one of your major assignments, it's due at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday night. If your computer dies at 9 p.m. Sunday night, that's something you gotta plan for. What's your plan B? Where will you go to finish up? Ideally, you'll be done with your assignments, the day before they're due or something like that. And so if you do run into something, you've got a little time to work it out. That's what I mean. You've got to plan for things to go wrong. Okay. Yes, so the benefits of an online class, because I feel like we've been talking about some of the difficult stuff, is that you can do your coursework when it fits your schedule. So if you're working during the day or if you're working during the night, you can do the coursework when it works for you. You are not required to do work on weekends. You choose to do work on weekends. If that's what's going to work for you and that's what you want to do, that's fine. You do it. This is not a face-to-face kind of thing where I tell you where you need to be and when you need to be there and when you need to do each thing, which, has its benefits and its drawbacks. If you run into a problem or you think you might be having a problem with something, please tell me. I am happy to help you out, but I can't do that unless I know that you've got that problem. I'll respond to emails within 24 hours. Or if you tag me on Yellowdig properly within 24 hours, excluding holidays and weekends. Information about course navigation, so you can look through that if you want some info. And then our units. So we're looking at 4 different types of bodies. First, we'll look at supernatural bodies, then female bodies, then punished bodies, and then monstrous bodies. Our assignments are here with their weights. The assignments area in Canvas is still a little messy because I had to change this class around quite a bit from how it works when I meet face to face. So I am still cleaning that up, but the weights should be correct at this point. There are basically 5 major assignments, or maybe 6, and then Yellowdig and critical readings. So feedback, I'll be doing rubrics primarily so that I can get the feedback back to you quickly. If you want more feedback, please email me and request that. I'm more than happy to do that for you, but I won't be doing it automatically. Late work, you have up to a week to submit something late. After that point, you get